amazing day. It is Wednesday, August 2nd. It's time to have more of what you want and less of what you don't. What's going on with the camera over on Instagram? All right, he's lighting up here, and that's going down. Okay, all right, go. All right, hey, listen, conversation for today is what's going on with my camera here on Instagram. Conversation for today is, how much is your kindness costing you? That's the question. And I don't mean kindness to other people. Ooh, here we go. I mean kindness to you. How much is your kindness costing you because you won't hold yourself accountable? You won't hold yourself to a higher standard. You want other people to. You want other entities to. You want the people who provide you service to hold themselves to a higher standard. So my question to you is why won't you hold you to a higher standard? And for some reason, camera's not working on Instagram, so we're just going with this. It's called delusional thinking. It's called tomorrow. It's called maybe someday I'll figure it out. Maybe someday it'll be my reason why. Maybe someday I'll figure it. I'll become rich. Maybe someday. The reality is this: someday is always here today. And as a certified brain trainer, a certified approval to addiction coach, as a certified hypnotherapist, as a certified life coach, as a certified self-talk trainer, bunch of certifications, bunch of qualifications, bunch of real life experiences. My question to you is, who do you have holding you accountable? Who is the person that's going to hold you accountable? Is it a coach? Is it a teacher? Is it a friend? Is it a community? Is it an individual who would really like to, because they decided because they've got an internet connection, they're going to be a coach? Do they have real life experiences? Do you know about them a lot more than most? Because there's got to be a relationship. What is your kindness of keeping people from knowing your story costing you? See, because a lot of people, what's that phrase? Nobody knows how much you care. Nobody cares how much you know. I'll get it out. Nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. I can pretty much guarantee this. The majority of you, 99.9% of you, have skills and talents you haven't even tapped into. You know you have the skills, you know you have the talents, you just haven't tapped into them. My question is why? And some of these skills and talents you have are already your story. What's your story? There's somebody that follows me now on YouTube, and you'll see comments if you're over there on YouTube where they keep talking about, I'm a scammer. I think that'd be a great story if it were true, but it's not true. But guess what? What can people say about you? Type it in the chat. What can people say about you on the internet? I can say anything. And this person probably did get scammed, and I feel bad for them. The reality is that if they're not willing, how many of you are not willing to take the next step to find the Paul Harvey rest of the story? How about the rest of the story for you? The rest of the story for you. What's the rest of the story for you? If God forbid yesterday, right? We've heard this phrase, don't let the music die inside of you. If God forbid yesterday was your last day, God forbid yesterday, you had an hour to speak to yourself. Somebody who's come into our masterminds with Kyle Wilson talked about your death day self. Your death day self. What would you say to yourself if you were on your deathbed and you were talking to you, the part of you continued to live on? What would you want you to know? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the stuff hits the fan. This is where you don't talk about, I should have learned algorithms more. I should have made more posts. I should have talked to more people. I should have left a stronger legacy for my family. You realize this, and this one's going to hurt. This one's going to hurt. So you may want to turn your volume down for just a second. You may want to turn your volume down. If you're afraid of being too kind to yourself, you may want to turn down your volume. Here's what you do. So those of you that have turned down your volume, so the rest of you that are listening to this right now, here's the question I have for you. Is your insurance policy going to be the biggest part of your legacy? Some of you may not even have an insurance policy. How many of you, listen carefully, this is a tough one. How many of you have ever said, or how many of you, let me take the pressure off of you. How many of you have ever heard somebody said, I'm worth more dead than alive? Drop a D in the chat. I'm worth more dead than alive. Drop a D in the chat. If that's the case, then something's got to change. I'm here today to tell you, we need to hook up. We need to get things going. We need to lock arms, because you are worth more alive. Your memory is worth more than any insurance policy. See, your kindness is costing you too much. Your kindness is costing you too much. It's time to get a little tough on yourself. It's time to kind of say, you know what? I'm going to do the activity. You're going to do what Brian Tracy says. What does Brian Tracy say? What am I going to say that Brian Tracy says? What's his book that he says? What is he known for? Brian Tracy's known for what? What do you need to do first thing in the morning? What do you need to do first thing in the morning? You need to eat the frog. And some of you are wanting caviar. Some of you are wanting little 4-point toast. Some of you are wanting a little eggs benefit. No, you got to eat the damn frog. Eat the frog. Eat the frog. The other challenge, you want to know the other challenges? Some of you don't know what your frog is. Some of you, your frog is so big. Some of you, your frog is so big, you can't even see it. You got to back up. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You start nibbling on the frog. A lot of your frogs, I don't know why this just came in. A lot of your frogs are Macy Day parades, Thanksgiving floats. Right? How many of you have seen Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade? I don't even know if they're going to have those anymore. I hope they do. But Macy's Day Thanksgiving floats, the big floats, right? The Marshmallow Man, the Woody the Woodpecker, you name it. If you popped a hole in that thing, what would it do? Type it in the chat. If you just put one little hole in it, took a big hole, and now it may take a little time for it to do it, but if you bit that thing, it would cause a leak and that thing would just deflate. Some of you, if you bit your frog, it would deflate pretty fast. Some of it would pop and it would disappear, and then you'd see all the little frogs you got to start chewing on because you've been procrastinating, profroginating. That kind of sounds weird. You've been delaying the consumption of your little ribbit. So what part of you, what skill, I'm going to ask you to participate with this. What skill do you need to work on today, right now, in this moment? What skill would you need to access? What skill would you need to develop? What skill would you need to get better at so that you could literally have more of what you want, less of what you don't? Today, not tomorrow, today, no more event, not the next book, not the next training, right now, you and me here right now. What's the skill? Manifestation takes quieting the brain. Manifestation takes a belief. Manifestation takes a conversation with your highest self. Manifestation means activating all of your archetypes. See, the manifestation happens when you turn it over. Let go, let God, right? We've heard that phrase. Well, God would help. The higher source would help. Your higher energy would help. The universal source would help if they knew what the heck to help you with. So it requires detail. It requires specification. It requires your DMP. See, you can manifest anything you want. The question is what's the price you're going to pay? How many of you were little? How many of you ever, when you were leaving the grocery store, remember the red candy, like with the gumball machines with the round thing in it and the Super Ball and this? How many of you remember the gumball machine? How many of you remember the gumball machines at the grocery store? How many of you walked by and every time you looked by, because you asked your parents, you asked your mom, it was usually my mom. I don't know that I ever went grocery shopping with my dad. He picked me up at the grocery store a couple of times when I was forgotten, but that's another story. So the question then becomes, how many of you have ever walked by that and you stood there and you went, I would want that? Well, wanting it doesn't do you a dang bit of good. Wanting it doesn't do you a dang bit of good. You got to pay the price. You got to pay the price. You got to pay the price. So to quiet your mind, you got to pay a price. Just to begin the process, you got to pay the price. What's the price you'll pay? I'll work on meditation. I'll work on journaling. I'll work on slowing down your mind. See, here's the challenge. Some of you are trying to stop a fully loaded tanker. You know, these big, huge super tankers that carry oil across the ocean. If they went from, they only do 12, 13 knots, about 15 miles an hour. If they wanted to come to a full stop, if they wanted to come to a full stop, if they wanted to come to a stop and then change the direction, go in the opposite direction, it would take them almost 8 miles. It takes about 30 minutes to stop, 45 minutes to stop, to bring to a stop, full reverse, full reverse. There's so much momentum going on in your life right now called confusion, so much momentum going on in your life called non-kindness, so much momentum going on in your life that it just takes time to monitor your thoughts. Some of you would be like Indianapolis Speedway. I can't even, oh my gosh, I wish I could stop my thoughts. It just proves this. It just proves this. Listen carefully. It proves this. We are not our thoughts. So what would the part of you, what would the one of you, what would the one who's actually could be able to maintain? Because see, if you think that you can, if you can calm your thoughts, there's a part of you that already has their thoughts calmed. I need you to hear this. If you can want your thoughts calmed, see, the wanting always comes from a part of us that already knows how to do it. They really don't want the peace. They want you to become aware of the peace that already exists inside of you. Doesn't it exist inside of you? Because your thoughts are not inside of you. Your thoughts are outside of you that you keep trying to manage and herd like chickens. Which you could ask Mason, it's hard to herd chickens. So what do? Binaural beats. What do? We begin to journal. See, the thing about journaling your thoughts, the thing about the kinesiology of writing your thoughts, you've got to literally think about the letter. Now, while you're doing it, because habitually, right? So that's why they say write with your opposite hand. You know how to make the letter A. Why can't you make it with your opposite non-dominant hand? I'm left-handed, so when I go to write right-handed, it looks goofy because I don't have the pattern. But it breaks it up. It forces more focus. It says the brain's going, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. We need to be able to do that better. We know how to make an A. We know how to make a C. We know how to make a D. Why is that looking so interesting? Because we're doing something that's non-dominant in our life. And getting your thoughts calmed down, it's non-dominant. So rather than say, I would like to calm my thoughts, ask a QLQ. You want better answers? Ask better questions. So the QLQ is, who do I become when my mind calms? Who do I become when my mind calms? Now answer the question. See, kindness, you're being too kind to the monkey mind, too kind to the thoughts that run rampant, too kind to the story that's keeping you from your success. What would happen? What would change if today you were able to wrangle your thoughts into a quiet place? What would happen if you were able to calm your mind? What would you think about? See, when we ask questions, the mind does not operate. The mind does not operate in a vacuum. I want to calm my thoughts. The mind doesn't say, oh, heck to the no, not a chance, not a chance, no way, never happened. It's impossible. Doesn't say that. What's that meme that we see, that video that we see where the priest is saying, I asked God for patience. Did he give me patience? No. He gave me moments where I could practice my patience. I asked God for calm thoughts. Did he give me a calm mind? Or did he give me a chance to own my calmness? Our words are powerful. As a self-talk instructor, trainer, and coach and mentor, there's 4 different levels of self-talk. A self-talk coach, I can give you a script and say, did you check the stuff? Self-talk teacher, I can explain to you what self-talk is and how you do it, not even holding you accountable. A coach can kind of hold you accountable to the activities that you want to do. A trainer, I can teach you how to teach others how to monitor and manage and help them create better self-talk. And as a mentor, I can teach you how to do things with self-talk you never thought possible. No one else is teaching you. So that's 4 levels of just self-talk. I have that level of efficiency and capability and capacity on every one of the levels that I've gotten a certification on. How do you calm your mind? Say, I have a calm mind. My mind is calming. Use the chakras. I am calm, right? Sacral, I feel calm. Solar plexus, I do calm mind. Heart, I love my calm mind. Throat, I speak my calmness. Third eye, I see myself as calm. Crown, I understand calmness. See, it's that I am chakra, that root, that security. And the challenge is most people aren't secure in their own words. So when they say the one chakra, the one statement, the I am statement that says, I am calm, the whole rest of the body, the whole rest of your experience goes, you don't even believe that. And the I am statement is the security. It's the confidence. And if you don't have faith in that, it doesn't even exist. Why do you think so many people who do I am statements fail in life? Period. I'm going to just call it the way it is. They fail every day in life. They fall short of their potential. Listen, this is a pass or fail grade. You don't get a B in life for being average. You don't get a C plus in life for being below average. It is pass or fail. And you got to ask yourself a question today. Do you want to pass or do you want to fail? See, most people say, I'll pass, and they give up. They pass. They take a pass on life. There is no shortcut. There's only a success cut or a failure cut. Which are you going to choose? It takes time. You got to slow down the ship. You're going to have to spend more time than you ever thought possible to begin to calm your mind. And then what Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich, in the opening statement, it says, when you find the secret to your success, when you find the secret of success that works for you, life pours in upon you. Life floods you with all of the solutions, all of the things that you desire, that you'll wonder where they were during all the lean times. Your kindness is costing you significantly. Well, I'm not saying don't be kind to others. I'm just saying stop being so kind to you. You are kind to others at the cost of your own life. I just did a 3-day, 15, 17-hour training on secret sauce, where we talked about mental toughness, where we talked about self-talk, where we talked about your purpose-driven payday. The reason we can't calm our minds is because we haven't focused on how we're going to create our income. And income, money is a part of it, but your mental profits are how your thoughts create your income. It has very little to do with money. Money is a result. Money is a result. So if you're struggling with money, if you're struggling with finances, it's a result. Jim Rohn says, how do you give yourself a pay raise? You bring more value to the marketplace. You bring more value. And if you're not bringing value, you ain't getting paid. Energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, how are you bringing value to the marketplace? How many of us know, listen carefully, how many of us know guys who look pretty handsome? They got the chiseled chin and everything else, and maybe they're getting paid to model the Calvin Klein underwear, but they can't put a sentence together. You're like, how do they? Well, they look good. See, that's value. How many of you know, I don't know anybody, but how many of you know somebody who's a hand model? They get paid because they would do the skincare things and they use their hands and they get paid for their hands because their hands look good. How many of you know people who get paid for their voice? They're singers. They get paid for their voice. How many of you have ever seen opera singers? Tell me, opera singers, the majority of opera singers, are they the epitome of wellness? Or are they usually a little bit bigger? They cast a fairly large shadow and all of a sudden, but they get paid tons of money for their voice. For those of you that are older, did Christy Brinkley get paid for her voice? Did she get paid for her vision? Or did she get paid for the way her body looks? See, it's all about adding value. How are you going to go add value to the marketplace? Listen, sexy potato sandwich right here. I am not going to stand on stage and model underwear. I could be the before picture. Yeah, try to get that out of your mind now. I probably won't ever be. I don't have a desire to be the after picture. But how many of you right now are the before picture of success? And you keep telling everybody, I'm the after picture, which is why nobody wants to sign up. If that's what after looks like, I'm Audi 5000. It's time to make a change. It's time to decide the change on the inside and let the results show up on the outside. What's the price you're going to pay? Kindness is costing you too much. Let's see if you know the secret to success, right? Let's see if you know the secret to success. Practice it with me. Say the word no. No. See, here's the thing. You can't know, K-N-O-W, what your potential is until you say no. You can't know until you know. Say it. I can't know until I know. I can't know until I know. Because the no you have isn't working. Both of them. The no you have isn't working. Your K-N-O-W and your N-O. Good morning, W-W-W-W. Hey, Seamus. This is about you having more of what you want and less of what you don't. You have to decide, when will you do it? When will you do it? And if you say tomorrow, I hope you are Annie on Broadway and going to get paid for singing tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow. You got to do this now. There is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. There's only a now. And your conscious mind takes you either into the future or into the past. I call the past the plains, the future the frontier. Which way are you facing? Some of you are backing into your future going, oh, look what I did there. Look what I did there. Look what I did there. Oh, my God, it's now 2035. How the hell did I get here? Because you backed your ass into the future and you didn't see where you were going. Could you imagine if you had to back your car around everywhere? Had to drive in reverse? If all of a sudden they changed the laws and they said everybody's got to drive in reverse, how many people wouldn't drive because of all of the accidents? How many of you couldn't get anywhere because of all of the accidents? They may not be high-speed accidents, but there'd be fender bumper, what do you call them? Fender bender after fender bender after fender bender, because everybody's backing into each other. How many of you know people who back out at the shopping market, at the grocery store, can't even back their car out without hitting something? And you're trying to drive this high-speed, well-tuned, super exotic vehicle called you. Anybody ever heard somebody who owns a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and one of the exotic cars says, man, I got to take it out on the highway and open it up. Some of you are driving on the sidewalk. Get off the damn sidewalk. Some of you think that's the best way to prospect people is run them over. Get in my car. So what do? Slow down your mind, meditate, understand that you've got to get a little bit tougher with you. This is mental toughness. The kindness cost you is what's called delusional thinking. When I teach people about mental toughness, first thing we talk about is delusional thinking. Delusional thinking. You're deluded. You have this illusion that because you attended an event, because you bought a book, because you lost money, that you're now qualified for massive success. You got to dig deeper, dig deeper, dig deeper. You got to dig deeper. You don't have to, you get to dig deeper. Take the time to write your DMP. Most of you don't have your DMP. I've been talking about it for over a year, your definite major purpose. I'm going to do that. I'm going to really work on that. My definite major purpose is the price I'll pay is I'll do challenges. I've done 2 6-hour challenges and an 18-hour challenge. 18 and 6 is 24 and 30 hours. I've done 30 hours of live in-person challenges. I said I was going to do it and I did it. Why am I saying that? Because if you want somebody who speaks their talk and walks their walk, you might want to figure out, okay, how do I pay him to teach me to do what he's doing? Because I'm doing it live right now in person with you. I've done over 1,600 episodes. How many of your mentors have done a training every single day for the last 1,604 days? You're listening to the wrong people. You're listening to the people that aren't getting you where you want because, I don't know, some of them have done the hard work and they say things like, if I could do it, you could do it. The hell I could do it. You did it and you barely got through it. They were the proverbial Wallace D. Waddles. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way, and they lucked into it. Blockheads can become rich. People who don't seem like they have the highest skill set can get rich. How many of us know people who are wildly intelligent, wildly amazing relationships, wildly incredible health, and they're poor? It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. And you got to decide, is today the day I've had enough? Is today the day I've had enough? How's your current story working for you? So I love you tons. I appreciate you. If you want to learn more, go to the website that's on top there, SeanGMurphy.com. Reach out to me. Leave a comment in this YouTube video below saying we need to talk. And if you're the person who thinks I scammed you, you can write that too. We need to talk. I've given you the chance to have a conversation with me multiple times so you can find out I am not the one who took your money. I love you tons. I appreciate y'all. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit, live from Rocky Creek Ranch. This conversation brought to you by the power of ketones. Do your brain better on ketones. I love you tons. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. Till then, YouTube.